Here is the scariest games that you should never, and I mean ever, play alone. The first game that we have coming up is the Hooded Man. The Hooded Man ritual is quite similar to the elevator ritual in a sense that it takes you to a world different from ours. This one requires you to perform a cleansing ritual prior to starting the game, like burning sage and spreading salt on your front door. When night comes, go to a room where there's a telephone. Detailed instructions can be found online, but you'll basically be making a call for a cab. If you have succeeded, you'll be seeing a black cab park outside of your house. Exit the building, climb into the cab's empty back seat, lock the door behind you, and go to sleep. If you awaken and your watch reads exactly 3:30 a.m., then you'll find yourself falling asleep for the second time. Once you wake up, the cab will be on an unfamiliar highway, and you'll notice the hooded man behind the wheels. Some accounts have stated that other passengers may get inside the cab and sit with you, but you should never pay attention to them. If you want to end your ride, just lean closer towards the hooded man's ear and whisper, "I have reached my destination." You will fall asleep and wake up in your house, after which you'll have to go to the telephone, dial a number, and say thank you for the ride. Do another cleansing ritual afterwards regarding the cab ride. It's up to you whether you want to continue the ride for a longer period of time, but many have advised against it since the world gets more absurd as the ride goes on. And the worst case scenario is that you might not be able to escape that world anymore. Coming up next is Charlotte's Web. You might be familiar with the popular children's book Charlotte Web, but have you tried playing a game named after it? In this game, you'll be calling for the spirit of Charlotte Webster, a little girl from the 1400s whose mother has been accused as a witch and burned at the stake. If you dislike the idea of playing paranormal games by yourself, then this might be the game for you, since it requires another person, but you can play this alone. All you have to do is go to a dark room with a large mirror, bring a flashlight and a toy, preferably one that a little girl would like. Set up a chair in front of the mirror and a table behind the chair. Place the toy on top of the table. Make sure the toy's reflection can be seen in the mirror. You should take your seat and make sure no other light comes through the room except for the one coming from your flashlight. Say the words, "I want to play Charlotte Webbs," and next thing you know, right, if you wait for a while, she will appear in the mirror to take the toy. You may now converse with her, ask her questions. Once you're done, say goodbye, Charlotte, and that's it. Those who've tried the game claim that Charlotte can be a sweetheart, especially if you get on her good side or if she likes the toy you have offered. Don't play this game and attempt to try to piss her off, though, because accounts say that Charlotte throwing a tantrum will be the last thing you ever want to see. Before we talk about the last and final game, please take some time out to follow and subscribe and comment on this video. Will you play any of these games? Are you that bold? But one more question I have for you all. Are you scared yet? The last and final game is the Midnight Game. The Midnight Game is probably the most popular game on the list. If you find the other paranormal games unchallenging and you want to go to the extreme, then this dangerous game might just be the one for you. The Midnight Game was believed to be an old pagan ritual used as a punishment to those who disobeyed the religion. The instructions on how to play the game can easily be found online, but the gist of it is that you have to summon a Midnight Man and walk around your house while making sure you don't get caught by him. If you manage to avoid the Midnight Man until 3:30 a.m., then you have won the game. The game is not that complicated since the procedures are clear and easy enough to follow. What more is that this can be played by more than just one person. So if you're too scared to do it alone but still want to do it anyway, you can just ask your friends to share the misery with you. Just keep in mind that most people who who have played the game included a warning to never try this game. Some have experienced hallucinations, and some were even left with permanent mental scars. This game was so popular that it was adapted into a film. So I mean, don't ever, and I mean never, play these games.